Hi there, happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me for today's daily forecast. We have a lot to get through, so without any delay, let's jump straight into your Sunday forecast. Our main weather story today is, of course, the rain. We have a lot of it. We have this broad inland rain event happening. It's affecting large parts of the country. Rain is extending from central and northern WA, because we've got activity popping up here today, through across the Northern Territory into Western Queensland, down here through central New South Wales, down through Victoria, and extending across Tassie today. Looking at our synoptic setup right now, we'll get our pressure pattern up for you. We've got a fairly broad driver here. It's the contrast between the lower pressure here through the north and across the inland regions of Australia. And then we've got the stronger high pressure sitting down to the down to the south and to the east of Australia today. Now that higher pressure here remaining well established out across over New Zealand. This is giving the ridging, it's extending back across New South Wales, the coastline here in particular. Now that's maintaining the onshore flow. I sound like a broken record, but it is still taking place across parts of eastern Australia, particularly along the New South Wales coast. Showers are going to continue as a result of this. The onshore flow is just feeding all of this activity here onto the coastline. Across the north, we've got this weaker pressure field. It's extending from northern WA through the Northern Territory and into Queensland. This is where the atmosphere is more unstable today. It's helping to support the areas of rain that are passing through. It's also helping the development of thunderstorm activity, particularly here across the Kimberley and into central Northern Territory, as well as Western Queensland. Through the interior now, it does look like this broad inland trough here. It's sitting across this region here, and it's not particularly sharp or deep, but you can see that there is this subtle dip in the pressure field here, and that weaker pressure here, this weaker gradient that we're seeing through the middle of the country, it's acting as a focus for the moisture and the cloud activity and all of that shower and thunderstorm business that we're seeing today. We also see here in the Great Australian Bight, it is brief and short-lived, but we see this little high popping up throughout this afternoon. It is keeping things across these southern parts of WA and South Australia more stable than elsewhere in the country today. So between this high here and then the weaker trough inland, that's where we're seeing this really broad rain band continuing to stretch across inland Australia. I won't hash over all the states again. Moving into our rain and thunderstorm layer now. Let's start in WA actually. So across the Kimberley here, the thunderstorms are expected to become more active this afternoon and into this evening. That's going to take place here between Kununurra and Derby. Some storms could produce locally heavy rainfall. I wouldn't rule that out, but currently there is no weather warning or alert issued for that region. Through into the Northern Territory now, showers and thunderstorms are going to continue across the central districts today, with activity becoming a little more focused here around Elliott later today. This leads us into Western Queensland now, because this remains a key area actually today. We've got showers and thunderstorms spreading here through these inland districts of the Channel Country. By this evening, what we're going to see here is all of this activity is going to expand east. So we're talking around Longreach and Quilpie, even as far east as Roma. That will be just the lighter shower activity extending through tonight and into the early hours of tomorrow. Along the New South Wales North Coast here, showers are going to continue for Coffs Harbour. We've got more intense shower and thunderstorm activity actually just offshore here. You can see it. It's really firing already this morning. That's going to continue through to this evening, but we can see as we scan through, it's actually moving away from the coastline. If we look into Victoria now, rain continues across the central districts here. There is a slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm here for Melbourne's northern suburbs. That's going to be later today. Rain is also going to become more widespread across Tasmania into this evening, particularly through the western parts of the state. For today, what the modelling is forecasting is that the heaviest rainfall is most likely to be focused across the Kimberley region, also into the central parts of the Northern Territory, but there's also going to be pockets around central New South Wales and central Victoria. And that's because rainfall associated with those locally intense thunderstorms, that could deliver that higher rainfall. It's going to be pretty torrential at times for some of these regions that I've mentioned, and that's because of those stronger storm cells. Let's now move into our temperature outlook. If we look at our peak daytime temperatures actually today, what we're going to see is the warm conditions continuing throughout the north. We've got milder weather through the southern capitals down here, and we've got cooler temperatures really holding on for parts of the inland southeast. So we'll start in WA as we always do. I'm going to zoom out a little bit more and try and breeze through this as quickly as possible. Perth today will reach 21 degrees, Geraldton warmer at 25. Further north, Broome will top out at about 30. Port Hedland will be 31. Inland now, Kalgoorlie sits at around about 21 degrees, while along the south coast around Albany, those regions, those townships should reach about 20 degrees. Into the Northern Territory, the top end stays hot. Darwin will reach 33, 34 for Katherine, and Jabiru climbing to 35. Nhulunbuy should reach 30, while further south, Tennant Creek will be cooler at 23 degrees. Alice Springs cooler again, reaching just 17 degrees. So it's going to feel cool in the desert in some regions. Across into Queensland now, Brizzy will reach 25, Cairns will reach 28 and 29 for Townsville, Rockhampton reaching 27, and inland Longreach will climb to 29 degrees, while Toowoomba stays a little cooler at 21 degrees. Into New South Wales, Sydney and Newcastle both set to reach around about 23 degrees, while Wollongong should reach 22. Inland now, Tamworth will reach 24, Broken Hill cooler at 19 degrees, and Wagga Wagga cooler again at 18 degrees. In the ACT, Canberra should reach 19. And if we head down into Victoria now, Melbourne will reach 17 degrees, while Geelong will be ever so slightly warmer at around about 18 degrees. Ballarat, Bendigo and Shepparton all should sit around the mid-teens, while Mildura will hopefully hit 20 degrees. Into South Australia, Adelaide and Port Augusta both should hover in the low 20s. Whyalla and Ceduna will sit at 20 degrees. Port Lincoln should reach 19, while Mount Gambier is cooler again at 17 degrees. Finally now into Tassie, Hobart will be quite mild for this time of year, 17 degrees, Launceston topping out at 18, Davenport 16, Burnie and Queenstown both sitting at 17, and St Helens will be warmer at 20 degrees. Now, let's shift into our wind forecast. We'll look at our regular wind layer first, and we'll just head to this afternoon where the wind speeds are going to be the strongest. Conditions, though, are noticeably calmer. We can see that here when we're looking at the chart together. This is compared to what's been happening across the nation in recent days. So large parts of inland Australia are sitting under light winds today, particularly through South Australia, Western New South Wales, Victoria and the Northern Territory. Many of these areas are only going to see wind speeds of around 10 to 20 kilometres per hour, which I think will be very welcome. Along the east coast, we do have that moderate onshore flow bringing, so that's going to be Queensland, New South Wales, under the influence of the Tasman Sea high or the New Zealand high. Overall, the wind speeds here, they're not significantly significant, not especially significant, I should say. It's the weekend. This is just the weekend fog in my brain. So Tassie and Victoria winds are relatively light as well. The one area here it is. This is what I wanted to mention. Across Western Australia, the coastline between Exmouth and Carnarvon, there is going to be some fresh southeasterly winds continuing to develop. Now, it's just going to be moderate to occasionally gusty through this afternoon and into the evening hours. The wind will pick up slightly into the evening hours. Even here, though, the wind strengths are still lower than what we have been seeing, but I just wanted to draw your attention to it. As we move across into the wind gust layer, this is where we really see the easing of the trends nationwide compared to what we have had of late. Again, West Australia up here along the coastline, these gusts will prevail into the evening hours. I just didn't want to forget to say that. But if we look elsewhere, only isolated pockets of moderate gustiness are expected across coastal Queensland and Tassie, inland regions remaining comparatively calmer. Let's now move into our cloud and satellite layer, because much of the cloud cover across Australia today, it's actually going to remain fairly locked in. I'll show you what I mean. So unless you are down here across parts of the Eyre Peninsula, Yorke Peninsula, any of these regions here in South Australia, you'll see just in a moment, these skies should stay generally clearer through the day. But what we're seeing here, many of the other regions, when you look out this morning and you look at the sky, however it looks right now is probably how it's going to stay for the majority of the day. I know that sounds funny. Usually we've got a really exciting cloud and satellite section of our forecast to discuss. But anyway, let's just dive in anyway. The thickest cloud band is going to continue to stretch right here. Look at it here. Kimberley, right through central Northern Territory, down across all of these states here. I'm starting to really repeat myself, but this broad cloud shield that we're seeing, it really does, because it's remaining associated with all of the inland rain activity that we have. It is tracking eastwards, it's heading towards the coast, but the cloud is locked in today. If we go through this afternoon and into the evening hours, the cloud cover continues to build, especially out here across the Kimberley region because of those rainfall and the thunderstorm activity that's expected to pop up. That's between Kununurra and Derby, remember. Now, additional cloud also will increase across the southwest of WA, so you will see all of that building, waking up to clearer skies than what will be this evening. Elsewhere, though, conditions are relatively unchanged throughout the day. Let's now wrap up with our rainfall accumulation layer. We'll look at this 48-hour time frame from today through till Tuesday. What we're seeing here is increasingly significant rainfall across central Northern Territory, also through the Western Queensland regions here. I'm going to touch on this in more detail in just a moment, but look at it here. I like the way the color grading works on this chart because it's just so obvious where the more intense rainfall is going to take place on the accumulation layer. So central New South Wales, Victoria, Tassie. Now, some of the heaviest inland rainfall is expected across the next 48 hours around Elliott and Canteen Creek in the Northern Territory. We could see isolated totals in excess of 60 mils through till Tuesday. Also across central and western New South Wales. So we're talking Cobar, Tullamore, Coonabarabran, all of these regions, all of the surrounding regions to these three places are actually expected to receive widespread falls beyond 50 mils. Moderate rainfall is also going to extend through Burke, Condobolin, and all of these surrounding districts. If we look now at the most prominent area on this layer, we're looking across to the New South Wales Mid North Coast. Rainfall totals here are forecast to intensify dramatically as this inland weather system, I think you would have guessed this, but I'm going to spell it out to you anyway. This inland weather system here, it's going to reach the coastline and it's going to combine with the onshore flow that is already there. So areas around Port Macquarie could potentially see more than 120 mils over the next 48 hours. Coffs Harbour seeing anywhere between 70 to 80 mils. Heavy coastal rainfall is also forecast to extend northwards into southeast Queensland. So the Gold Coast is looking to pick up anywhere around 40 to 50 mils over the next couple of days. So there is a lot more to come. It is not done yet. Weather warnings. At this stage, there's actually no major widespread weather warnings or alerts issued by the Bureau of Meteorology. However, as you know, conditions can change rapidly, so please click on the link in the description of this video for more detail about what the Bureau has to say about this, plus many other weather events that can pop up. So that concludes a little change of point of view because the camera died and I was just about to pop the video up onto YouTube, and I was lucky enough to catch that there was no final wrap up, no anything at the end of that video. So thank you for watching if you've made it this far. If you have any feedback for the channel, please let me know. But that is it for today's forecast. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.